Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. The cat is out of the bag. We now know Nicola Sturgeon has destroyed her WhatsApp messages. That is a crime. She has broken the law. She should be arrested immediately. Not just the law from the fact that the court said and issued a do not destroy, but also standing orders that all communications must be retained. And if she's deleted them, which it appears she has, then she has broken that law and she must pay the price. And at the very least, they must now confiscate her phone and apply the tech, because these messages can be taken back after deletion, because nothing is lost forever in the internet. But it goes to show how scared she is for the truth to come out. She knows how damaging these messages would have been. She knows that they would probably have ended up with her going to prison. And so rather than being sort of prosecuted for what we can only assume to be the blatant issuing of orders and instructions that would have undoubtedly to the deaths of people, she deleted them and will face only the ire for the deletion of messages. She's taken the lesser of two evils. But I think the time has come. She has to be arrested on this. She has to be questioned. Her phone needs to be taken, given to the tech guys, and those messages, where possible, reinstated. So we all know exactly what she did, what she said, what orders were given. As the genocide of the old in the care homes, presumably and possibly by the direct instruction of her and Jean Freeman. It goes to show what a nasty piece of work this woman is. I'm going to go into the story now and we'll see it. Here goes. There is a defence of what the reasonable man would assume. And I think that anyone looking at this would assume reasonably that the reason Nicola Sturgeon deleted these messages is that for her, they would be so damaging. They would be so presumptive of where she would be ending up for the rest of her natural life. If it's the case that her orders, her and Jean Freeman worked together to deliberately, and this is only allegations, so I'm not saying she did, but if she did work with Jean Freeman and instructions were issued that knowingly endangered lives, knowing that by putting COVID patients into care homes, for example, would result in thousands of deaths, then this makes her and Freeman absolute butchers. And it isn't corporate manslaughter. It should just be straight up murder. And that is why she, we assume, deleted these messages. Because she doesn't want to be seen as someone who has murdered 5,500 people. And yet in our minds, the very fact that she has deleted them politicises this whole inquiry. At that point, this inquiry is no longer an inquiry. It should just be disbanded now. Because if Nicola Sturgeon is not going to be arrested and her phone message is retrieved, then what is the whole point? It is a pointless exercise. The truth has been destroyed. Evidence destroyed. Evidence that could well have ended up with Nicola Sturgeon behind bars forever. Nicola Sturgeon's key COVID WhatsApp messages were destroyed. And she denied having any, but they know she has. Because somebody has handed over some messages, and some of them are from Sturgeon. And so we know that they were there. But so, worst of all, were Hamza Yousaf's. He must resign immediately. If he has deleted those messages after standing and saying he will hand over everything, he will be open, honest and transparent, and then deletes these messages against the rules, against the fact that they were given a do not destroy notice, then he not only should resign, but he too should be arrested, charged and imprisoned. All of them should. There should be a Nuremberg-style trial here, because these people are no different from the lot that went through the war for the Germans. You know exactly who I mean. And we should get some modern-day Albert Pierpoint to come back and deliver the justice they deserve. Anyway, the First Minister's boast that the government would cooperate fully with the UK and Scottish COVID inquiries lies in tatters, according to Scottish Labour, who described the bombshell as a gross betrayal of grieving families, a gross betrayal of honesty, a gross betrayal of decency. And it goes to show exactly what these people are. They are a criminal organisation who are limiting themselves now to just destroying evidence because the truth would utterly destroy them. They dare not, cannot have the truth come out because even their own supporters could not walk away from the fact that possibly Sturgeon and her coterie of ministers committed genocide on elderly people. That's what the reasonable man would expect to see. Hamza Yousaf's vow that the SNP government would cooperate fully with the Scottish COVID inquiry is in tatters after it emerged key WhatsApp messages were deleted from Nicola Sturgeon's phone, and documents handed the UK-wide probe show messages from Mr Yousaf, who became Health Secretary in 2021, and John Swinney, the Nats COVID Minister, have also been wiped. They daren't let these go. In fact, only one senior individual in the Scottish Government was able to supply any messages at all. And even then, Mr Yousaf's predecessor as Health Secretary, Jean Freeman, was unable to provide a full record because she knows that the full record would mean she would go to prison too, and given her great advancing years and her deep bitterness and hatred of mankind, it would be a life sentence for her. The revelation, reported by sister paper The Daily Mail, was described as a bombshell by Scottish Labour Deputy Leader Jackie Bailey. She added, Hamza Yousaf said his government would cooperate fully with the COVID inquiries, but this promise has been left in tatters. Of course they won't. They daren't. They'll all be in jail. The whole party would collapse as a bunch of elderly, killing, genocidal bastards if the truth ever got out. And that is why the truth must never get out. That's how they'd be seen. If the top brass of the SNP has been destroying evidence, it is a gross betrayal, she says, fighting for justice, and an insult to all the Scots who made sacrifices. It's an insult to everyone, everywhere. These people are no longer fit for office, and that lying, corrupt fuckwit, Hamza Yousaf, needs to be arrested and jailed. He needs to be stripped of office. He needs to be made out to be what he is, a destroyer of evidence, a criminal, a man complicit, perhaps, in murder. That's what this is. The very fact that they're hiding all this, every single person, if you cannot provide the full transactions, you should be arrested and tried for murder. Because you can't prove it wasn't. Because you have destroyed this, knowing full well what you have done. Every single person. And they have to hand their phones over. And if needs be, you go to WhatsApp and you say, we want the records. And if they don't, then you sue them. You put them in, say, you've got that information. If you're not handing it over, you're guilty after the fact. And arrest the head, the directors, the board of WhatsApp. Get them in. Have them 30 years murder. Let's see how quickly those messages will come out. It follows reports during the week that Jason Leach, Scotland's National Clinical Director, deleted message on the app on a daily basis, which we know to be complete and utter horseshit, because nobody does that. No normal person does that. And so if he is doing that on a daily basis, it's because he knows those messages will see him in jail. He knows they are dangerous. He knows how awful they are. He has to delete them because... Anyway, he did this is despite fronting much of the coronavirus response. The Sunday Mail reports that the sources have confirmed Scottish Government officials used WhatsApp to discuss pandemic policy. Of course they did, because it's untraceable. And it should be law, and I've mentioned this before, it should be law that any politician anywhere, it doesn't matter what level, if you use any source of communication other than official channels, that should be automatic, without trial, automatically 20 years in prison. And it's the only way this shit stops happening. Anyway, the news has left families who lost loved ones to the pathogen stunned. Amor Anwar, lead solicitor for the Scottish COVID bereaved, said, the Scottish COVID bereaved find it inconceivable that not just the likes of Jason Leach, but the most senior figures in the Scottish Government, from the former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon and former Deputy First Minister John Swinney to the present First Minister Hamza Yousaf, failed to retain their WhatsApp messages over the 2-year period of the pandemic because they know what they were doing. They know. They were like the German High Command. They tried to say, I didn't know. They knew. They were watching. They turned Scotland's care homes into basically concentration camps where the elderly were routinely disposed of on purpose. deliberately so that they can manipulate the opinion on independence and save money on pensions. At the very least, by August 2021, when the Scottish Government announced a public inquiry, someone would have known that all those involved in key decision-making for the past pandemic must immediately stop deleting the evidence. The families we represent deserve the truth. Over 130 WhatsApp groups are said to have been of interest to the inquiry. Jamie Dawson, KC, lead counsel for the UK inquiry, responded to the news saying this is surprising, in particular in light of the apparent availability of such messages in high volumes within the UK government. And the UK government was forced to hand over WhatsApp messages earlier this year, but Mr Yousaf boasted at Holyrood that any material is asked for, WhatsApp messages, emails, signals, telegrams, whatever is asked for or requested, will absolutely be handed over to the COVID inquiries and handed over to them in full. And we know he is a liar. And that's the only thing you call him now. Hamza, liar. 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 Every time anyone sees him, call him a liar. Because you cannot believe a word. And hopefully you'll be calling him a liar as he's sitting there in a prison cell doing the time he so justly deserves. He also ordered Solicitor General Ruth Charteris to investigate whether WhatsApp messages should have been retained. Do not destroy notices have been issued over COVID communications, while Scottish Government policy states communications used to support its business requirements and legal obligations should be retained. That's the rule. That's the law. They have to obey it. And if they've destroyed them, they've broke the law, take them to court. Give them 30 years each. Minimum. Lib Dem MSP Willie Rennie added, not offering full transparency to the inquiry by deleting and refusing to hand over messages would be an insult to the grieving families looking for answers. And it also shows that they are truly, truly guilty. If they had nothing to fear, they have nothing to hide. Isn't that what they say to us all the time, the politicians? If you have nothing to fear, you have nothing to hide. So why are they hiding them? I'll tell you why. Fear. Fear of prison. Fear of 30 years for murder, perhaps. Got to cover myself. But you know what I'm saying is true. The Scottish Government said, as the First Minister has made clear, the Scottish Government is wholly committed to cooperating fully with the COVID-19 inquiries. Well, that's the biggest pile of horse shit I've heard. This includes providing any requested material that we hold. Yeah, that we hold. Delete, delete, delete. More than 13,000 documents from the official record have been sent to the inquiry. Don't give a fuck about that. I want your COVIDs. I want your WhatsApps about this COVID thing. I want to see what you were writing to each other. I want to see the proof. You proved to us that you weren't making deliberate decisions based on political identity. Oh, look, they're unionists. Let's get them in the old people's home and then kill them all. Because that is what we perceive to be the case. Prove it isn't. Show us your emails. Show us your WhatsApps. Show us that you never said that. You can't, and that's why you're deleting them. You murdering fuckwits. A spokeswoman for Miss Sturgeon said, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Or indeed, Nicola will continue to provide all the information requested. Fine, hand over your WhatsApps. No? No. Then that's a line of bullshit as well, isn't it? Lying. I was very going to say a word there, but I won't. She's recently submitted her third written statement to the UK inquiry. Yeah, again, pile of horse shit. Want to see your WhatsApps. Hand your phone over, love. Prove you've got nothing to hide. Hand your phone over. Yeah, that's never going to happen, is it? What a bunch of wankers. That's it then. Disband the inquiry. There's no point in having it. Just tell the people, the families of those who died, sorry, can't do it because that bunch of craven bastards won't tell the truth because they know that if they did, they're going to do 30 years for murder. And then let justice take its course. Maybe the police should turn around and walk away just for 10 minutes. That'd be long enough. And you just see a little pair of legs dangling from a lamppost, a shoe half off. Just imagine it. Little shoe half off, like that. Dangling, the other shoe on the ground underneath, arms down like that, head lolling, tongue out, blue-faced, crows getting ready for a feast. See a few of them dangling like that, wouldn't bother me. Fuckers. Right, I'm finishing coming up. You should make them all walk down Socky Hall Street naked. People throwing turds at them. Woman in front ringing a bell going, shame, shame. And then take them up there to that lamppost. And then we'll have the little dangle. That wouldn't bother me at all. I think that'd be the ultimate thing for them. And make sure every single person involved watches these people as they get led up to the gallows. I would pull the fucking lever myself. Hand her phone over. The police should make sure they get hold of that phone, hand it over to the inquiry, and get the tech guys on it and pull those messages back. Because I've got a feeling that she would shit herself to death if that was true. I bet you the phone's going in the grinder as we speak. Oh, you're not having the phone? Boom. You'll delete that. Throw that phone away. These people are going to get away with it, aren't they? They may well have committed some of the worst atrocities. They're going to make Harold Shipman look like an angel. And they're going to get away with it. It's unbelievable. I'll stop it. I'm just going to get angry about it. Thank you very much for watching. I apologise for my swearing, but it just gets me angry, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.